Ready. Play.
Matches a year that are like that, being that we're playing outside in different environments and different conditions, so it's to be expected. And even though it doesn't rain here often, I've had quite a few rain delays during my time at Indian Wells, which I find really interesting. So I don't know what it is about me and why I'm attracting so much rain, but you know, one year against Ons Jabeur, another year against Madison Keys. There's been some other matches too, and then this year. So I know what to expect now when I come to the desert. And yeah, I mean, we were, I think, you know, playing a good match yesterday, and I think we both wanted to finish the match in some ways or keep playing. And it's always, you know, difficult when you kind of have to go home and go to bed and then restart the next day. Especially when it comes down when you're basically starting at like a tie break. I felt like I was playing tie break tennis, which I haven't done before, and I kind of hope I'll get invited to tie break tennis at some point in my career. So maybe they can watch that tie break and my agent can send it to them or something. But yeah, it was you know, tough because you got to get settled into the match and you're trying to close out a set and you only have so much time. But you know, I eventually figured it out and kind of started getting some control on my shots towards the end of the tiebreak.
Right. We'll come to you in a second. Did you have any questions? Or?
I was just going to ask, you've talked a little bit about the fact that this is you're retiring soon, and what you're looking forward to. My question is there anything particular you will miss from the tour and your time as a professional tennis player?
Yeah, I mean, I've made really great friendships, and have so many of my closest friends are on tour, so I think that will probably be the most challenging part, the relationships that I've developed over the years, and you know, not seeing those faces as consistently, so that'll be tough, and that was something that I really enjoyed. I didn't really know what to expect initially, like going from like a team environment and being in college. That's a very social, you know, situation, I feel like, in general for all of us, and then kind of going into like professional tennis and it being an individual sport. But you know, most of the players, like, even though we are so competitive, everybody's like pretty laid back and pretty nice to each other, which is incredible. And you know, I think I'll miss that a lot. Yeah.
Just for returning to social, when people look back on your career, how do you want to be remembered?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think someone that worked really hard and someone that was genuine. You know, I think people always know where I'm at, mentally, emotionally, physically, and pretty honest about all of that. And you know, I'm also someone that has, you know, dealt with a lot of physical struggles, and that has not been easy. And you know, that wasn't something that ended up defining my career. I was able to overcome a lot of it, and of course there were challenges along the way, but I was able to play through 2 chronic inflammatory conditions and do pretty well. So.
Yeah. I'm Claudia from Canal Plus from Poland. You are going to play with Iga Swiatek now. You played this year during the Australian Open, and from your point of view, how close were you to beat her in that game?
Well, I mean, I was up in the 3rd set, and I had some opportunities, you know, where Iga played really high-level tennis, and I don't feel like I did a ton wrong in that situation. But yeah, it was close. So it was a good match, and hopefully I can use that as confidence going into this one.
You beat Iga once, and we know all that you are retiring this year. Is it going to be one of the matches you are going to come back, like in your memories?
Yeah, you know, I do think those big wins are things that you probably look back at when you get older and you think very fondly of. And I think it's so tough in our day-to-day now because I feel like I don't get to look back at many of my matches because I'm always preparing for the next one. which is good because then when you have the hard losses, you have something else to focus on. But yeah, I think when I get older, I'll definitely look back on those matches and have fond memories, and hopefully by that time it won't be a blur.
One more, if that's okay. You just said how tennis players are always looking forward. Knowing that this is your last Indian Wells, do you allow yourself to get nostalgical, or is it just animal mode from the moment you walk in?
Yeah, I feel like it's animal mode from the moment I walk in. I always want to do my best. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and someone that strives to play at the highest level and do the best that they can. So I feel like I don't get to celebrate my wins as much as I'd like to because I'm always like looking forward to the next thing. So yeah, I should probably work on that.
This morning you were practicing with Donna Bekic and Pam Shriver was there. Can you say a few words about what it means to have legends of the sport just casually around tennis all the time, to have these elders of sorts?
Yeah, I haven't had a lot of engagement with Pam, to be quite honest, and it's great to see her out there mentoring Donna and working with Donna, but I haven't had much experience with Pam, so yeah.
Just Rzynki from Canal Plus Poland. This your farewell season, the last one. You feel it is a little bit unlucky. You are meeting number one again at the very early stage, or maybe there's a chance just to say farewell to the tournament, beating one of the best in the world, if not the best.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you don't know until you have the outcome, but I don't really, I always kind of am like, okay, this is my draw, and I just deal with it and try to prepare. I feel like I haven't had some of the best draws, but in order to win the tournaments, you have to beat everyone in the draw at some point. So, it's just sometimes unfortunate for everyone involved when you have two really high level players playing against each other so early, but that's also what makes women's tennis so special is we have so much depth across the board, and we have a lot of players in the 40s and 50s and people that have dropped that had previously been top 10 and people coming back whose rankings are very low. So that's going to happen, and it's just the format of tennis, so you just do it and hope for the best. Yeah.
Do you get tired of being asked about this being your last season on tour? Is it kind of like, hey, I'm not done yet?
Yeah, I mean, it does get repetitive, but I always just remember, like, a lot of times when I get asked a lot, it's just because I'm interacting with so many people, and a lot of times, like, those people who are asking haven't been in the room when I've previously answered the question. So, yeah, I mean, I've been answering that question a lot, but, people are just, interested and engaged and, want to know what's on my mind and how I'm feeling about everything. So it's nice.
Okay, enough.
As you said, it's kind of the system of tennis, the way that players can meet each other very early. Can you think of a better system that you would prefer?
I mean, I do appreciate like the team environment coming from college tennis, and I think that the team competitions are fun. I never played United Cup, but I know a lot of the players really enjoy competing in that type of environment, and I know the fans there too really enjoy watching that type of camaraderie. I'm not saying that should be like the be-all, end-all, but I do think having those types of events is fun. I think representing your country and being on a team in that environment too for Billie Jean King Cup and for Davis Cup is really special. So, I think there's probably opportunities at some point where we can have more of those team competitions, but I think a lot of us too, we appreciate the format of this at times, and there's a lot of history in tennis, and we've done it this way for a while, but I think there's always opportunities to shake things up, and it just kind of keeps people, especially fans, engaged and eager to watch the sport. So, and I do think it's especially hard, I mean, with this format For players who are getting older, Indian Wells, it's spaced out a little bit, but some of the tournaments where you're playing back-to-back days and having to win 5 to 7 matches to win the tournament is incredibly challenging. We certainly have a great opportunity to go out there and do this professionally, but I think there's ways that we could improve and allow more recovery for the athletes. But we're doing the best we can with what we're doing right now and just trying to hang in there. I think it's sometimes this format can be very favorable for the really young people because they're like machines and the Energizer Bunny, and I think some of the older players it just becomes a little bit more challenging when you have to play so many days back to back. But I think all of these athletes are so adaptable, and that's the thing I've been most impressed with since being on tour. Even though I was in tennis and I was playing college tennis and following professional tennis, I didn't realize all of the logistical challenges. And with this being a sport where we're traveling to different continents and dealing with the different time zones and jet lag and then playing match after match, and one week you make it far in a tournament, the next week you got to get to play qualifying, and you fly that day, you play the match that day. I mean, it's really hard, and I respect so many of my peers because of how adaptable they are and how they just roll up their sleeves, and so many of them never complain and just put a smile on and go out there and compete their butts off and work hard every day. And it's been so so cool to watch everybody do this.
Danielle, you should stay in tennis. I mean, if you're not gonna play, just stay somewhere,
Oh.
Because it's so good to hear what you say. I was a former player. I played here as well, but it's so good to hear like what you're saying. Maybe like WTA instructor.
I agree.
Or some
Yeah.
USTA.
Yeah.
Experience to share. It's amazing, really. Do you have any plans to maybe stay?
Right now I'm brainstorming a lot and talking with different people and bouncing ideas around and trying to figure out what it is exactly that I kind of want to do next. I feel like right now it's like I think about this one day, I think about that the next day, I think about this, and so it's kind of hard to predict what I'll end up doing because I have so many ideas right now. But I do love the sport, and really I love the athletes that are on tour. I mean, I've friends really close with a lot of these girls, most of them, and I see how hard everyone works and how much heart and soul they put into this from the time that they're like 3 years old, and the stories, and I mean, it's just incredible. So I would like to help the game as much as I can and give back, and especially for the younger players to be someone that can kind of help them through the challenging times. And I certainly always do that, especially with the younger players. I make myself always available if there's issues, and I'd love to be able to help in any way that I can. And if there's an opportunity that comes up, I probably will get sucked in, Yeah. Yeah.
We need to leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll go this way for the radio.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.